What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. Had a phenomenal trade on ICU, not only once but twice. Um, can't tell you enough. Supply and demand. It's the way to go. But to each their own. Hope you guys had a chance to watch my first video. There'll be a link in the description again for that. Should be a little pop-up feed too that you can click on and to kind of reference off this. Guys, moving forward, I will only be talking about the book. I will only be breaking down my trades off the book. Um, to me, 100%, this is all a lagging indicator. The chart is a lagging indicator. Okay, some really great traders that I continue to hear that from. Qual Moggy, Short Bear says it a few times. Um, hey, you got to start taking some strong advice from people who actually are doing it. So let's dive in. Before I dive in, I have to tell you guys, everything is charted, mapped out properly with zones, right? I have different colors for different reasons. Okay, everything was prepped, broken down from the daily, the 4, 3, 2, 1, 30-minute, 15-minute if I needed it, but sometimes I don't. Okay, I am prepared. All right, and when the beauty of this is now, once I pull up the map, I get to understand what's actually happened behind the scenes. All right, I don't have to guess. I had a few names that I had on watch, a few names that I was watching throughout the day, and then I get to go ahead and flip through all these and actually see what's going on. Okay, now that's crazy. A lot to learn from this name for me personally. Really seeing how the move that it made, and then trying to understand the price action that happened right before close. I'm going to dive in, guys. Structure is super important. Okay. This thing had a nice controlled walk down. Okay. And if you're looking at this right here, it's going to be kind of tough to tell. But with this tool, you get to break it down. Right. And I was able to actually really see the controlled walk down that these guys did with the best offer and the best bid, and they kept it really tight. It was very controlled. Okay, there's spoofs, a lot of spoofs on the offer to control price action, right? And this is things that you're going to see on your level 2. Guys, if you are into level 2, this is going to click tremendously. Okay, this is level 2, right? Level 2, you guys are going to see this when you guys are using your little TOS thing, and it's okay. I did it for for a very long time. You're going to see this, but what happens is that if you're not staring at it 24/7 like the old Mikey used to do, like, hey, I used to say, don't take your eyes off it, dude. Don't even blink. Like, I was ready to put tape on my eyes, so I just was like this, I don't have to do that anymore, and I'm so grateful for that. That I actually put in the time and grinded. Okay, there's a really nice controlled walk down right here. Okay, and I want to reference a chart. This is your chart pre-market pattern that happened right here. Okay, guys, structure is so important. All right, how do you guys start identifying which structure works for you and which structure is going to work for something else? You got to make a playbook, right? You can't trade a million different things every day. You're never going to learn properly, right? Structure is very important. All right. This was some nice absorption candles to me. And eventually, when absorption is taken place and identified correctly, they have to eventually defend the one who is soaking, absorbing, right? Important, right? And then to identify how it's breaking down and why. Volume is going to be a great indicator for the sense of direction. If you're not paying attention to that, and you're so locked in of what's happening right here, and you immediately slam, and then you get chopped, locked up because it pulls back and it looks a little scary. I get it. This dump candle can look scary and intimidating. All right. But look at the overall structure pre-market and pay attention to the daily. It's really important how the daily opens up. To me, within the first 5 minutes, kind of gives me a sense of direction of, hey, is this going to actually try to attempt to break out the structure that it has, or try to break out the structure of the daily? It's all I am focused on now, and that's all I care about. TGL, I was able to avoid that one and really focus on this one, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without the book. I was able to quickly identify and go through something and say, you know what, this one is clearly not the right one. Okay, you have some pre-market structure it needs to get over. The bell opens and ignites with volume, and then starts to pull back, puts in a nice, this is pretty much a lower high right here, guys, okay? A lower high, if it cracks over a few cents, it makes 10 cents higher, and it fails, it couldn't sustain it. To me, it's still a lower high. I don't care if it breaks over a little bit. It really doesn't hold any value, right? You want to see things close strong, all right? And then I won't click out of this again, so we will deep dive into this. All right, but I can't emphasize enough how important structure is, okay? This is the structure that took place in pre-market, all right? I saw too many people on the book, and I was able to identify that with market buy orders, trying to slam this right away, and quickly the algo turned against them, came back to proper support, and started to consolidate, all right? It's very important that you guys start to identify proper consolidation when a seller is no longer there, how it's being absorbed, right? You're not going to be able to do that staring at your charts, guys. A bidder, there was a front runner bidder here the whole time at 55 cents. Beautiful thing, okay? This seller gets absorbed and they continue to stack. If you see this right here, this is our 55 bidder, and if you do inch by inch, you see that yes, it does come down, but it does not break the bid, okay? And you can clearly see that right here, all right? Mikey soaked above 55 and had a 55, 56 average, okay? I was able to soak properly into all of this and accumulate, and then this thing started to take off. Now, to me, the first key area that I wanted to see break out, guys, is this 66, 67 level. I'm not trying to scalp for a few pennies and do these type of things anymore. It doesn't work for me. Okay? I hold for a nice percent return now. And that's how Mikey trades. Demand and supply, right? This is a nice daily demand area. This is a nice hourly supply area. This was an intraday supply area that I had, and then above this is more daily supply. I get to see how price action is going to run into it and develop. When things stay strong, when things are not dumping into these areas or zones, to me, there's some strength behind this, okay? Now, 67 was my main target to see if this thing was going to break out, all right? If you see this right here, it's beautiful to see that they already have offers on the table. Okay, and this is another great thing right here. This is an example of a book flip. They smash through the offer, and as soon as they pull back and break through it, a bid comes in and supports the move. You're not going to see this looking at your charts. You might get an idea of level 2, but then again, if it pulls and resets up, you kind of don't know what's going on. You're basically trading blind, and that's okay. This was another great one right here too. as you see they start to break through these. All right, I want to. The best thing about this too on the book, guys, is you guys can zoom in, spread it, and actually see what's going on. And if you actually see what's going on right here, all right, not only does some of this get pulled, but as a buyer steps in right here, they throw in a bidder right underneath this, right underneath this offer, and then it opens up the spread. So cool, right? Phenomenal. All right, and this is how you see the spread comes in through here, and now the best bid gets to creep above this, break through this. Obviously, someone doesn't want to get sold right here, or they pull the offer, or some of it does get sold into. All right, and now, mind you, 67 was the main pre-market high. That's got to be the minimal target for me, for Mikey at least, right? I'm holding, and as I see this, they still, some gets sold into, the rest get potentially pulled, and now they start to build. All right. I want to zoom out real quick and kind of make my chart a little squinchy. Okay. Super important again right here. If you see the bidder step up right here, this is another potential book flip. As they start to break out, they pull back, and 68s, 69s had heavy support. That's a great thing, right? Because now when I go back to here, now Mikey's looking for his next targets. I want to see 68 to the bottom of this first daily zone. Right? I want to see these 80s get tested from my previous daily breakdown. If a breakdown happened, it's going to be an area of interest. Breakdowns need to reclaim. So when we're watching these, it's very important to, hey, start charting your breakdowns all over the place. Okay? So these are my next targets. As I'm watching this, okay, my targets, not only do there's magnets already, there's already front running offers there that are set in stone. If you kind of see these right here, this is 75 and 80. These were the areas that I wanted to see get tested because of supply zones that I already had prepped. Now, mind you, when you start doing this, you're going to be a little off, and that's okay. But it's an idea of where things could potentially test, build, and you really want to pay attention to how the level 2 looks. I like to see the current order book because if you can see this right here, it's constantly changing as price action is cranking, as things are ripping, as things are pulling back. People are selling, people are putting shorting, people are taking profits. You know, people are putting stops out on there. There's so many things, right? You can put in if you add it over here at 70, and now you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna put a limit order on the offer. So you're gonna add liquidity to the book, right? When you market buy, you're removing it. So this is always going to constantly change. I don't need to look at level 2 anymore, okay? And another thing too, I want to emphasize this too. I removed all my EMAs. I did this because I wanted to choose a wrench, and I wanted to stop using them to have a thesis off of. And I get it. It's a great thing to have for confluence. I'm not saying don't do it. You don't need it. I wanted to pick a little harder way and really just stick to supply and demand. So now I don't even know where the 8 is, the 20, because if you see me, my past videos, I used to be really big on just buying the first 5-minute 8 pullback, buying the first 5-minute 8, potential 5-minute 20. And then as I went back and reviewed all my trades, that's what I did. So I programmed my brain to trade off EMAs. Wrong. Okay, that was a bug. All right, guys. One of the biggest things too that I actually wanted to see was I want to see a pullback. Pullbacks are very important. Now, let's go to this little breakdown right here, guys. Okay. very important to start seeing how price action is actually being done. Okay? Wow. Another one. Blows my mind. This seller was actually absorbed, and there was still an offer right here. They pull the offer to bring the bid down to make it look weak. And you would have never known that. Even if you were sitting right here, you probably thought it got sold into, and that's okay. All right. This is going to be happening so fast, and there's going to be so many things to look for. And if you don't understand structure and have never been a big level 2 guy, it's going to look foreign and look like a solar system. Take the time to learn this, okay, guys? It's going to be super important to really see how price action is actually being done. Okay, I know in my video I showed you an example, guys. You know, if you need candlesticks, I don't even know if it's gonna pop up. Probably not. It's okay. You know, you can put candlesticks on here, but why? Uh, if you understand the best bid, the best offer, how and why they're using the liquidity, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. This thing, not only does the selling kind of stop, but as the price starts to bounce, we start to see more bidders step up. And when bidders step up and there's not a lot of selling and buying, it's not going to take it a lot to actually start bouncing, guys. All right. As you see, they're actually putting some spoofs right here. There's an offer, they pull it, breaks through, and immediately a book flip happens again. Right? This is amazing. All right, and again right here, you kind of see how they're opening up a tiny little pocket and then throwing a bidder underneath it. You're never going to understand this too if you're just staring at your chart. All right, guys. Beautiful thing right here. You know, I soaked 56s and I sold into 70s, the 72s, and it was a beautiful trade for me. All right. This is another one of my biggest trades that I actually took and got a really nice return off of it, and I didn't have to guess. No more guessing, guys. This is a beautiful thing right here too. If you see this pulls back, there's a bidder that helps absorb some of this selling. Selling stops, buyers step back up, they break through this 68 offer, and things start to recrank. Now, important again too, spread. This is when things start to open up and they actually have a spread. When a spread occurs, you need to look for a bidder to tighten the spread and catch whatever the spread is doing. Okay. Now, I'm going to fast forward real quick because I want to talk about. All right. Now, this thing hit a high of 79 cents. This is one of my best trades. I didn't have to guess. I was able to see what was happening behind the scenes. All right. And later, this thing started to reset up. And I drew out some new zones. And then this started to actually pick up. And I talk about this too in a couple of videos. You guys need to start seeing this volume and to start identifying it. We need look left volume. I talked about in some other videos. So I want to just see an average, you know. So a lot of the candles are probably like right here, average volume, okay? As this thing starts to crank up, we start to see some of that abnormal volume again, right? This thing was pretty tricky right here. I'm telling you right now, if you don't have both feeds, right? This is the DX feed and this is the Omni feed. There was a lot of manipulation going on this guy right here. Oop, I want to show you that's so cool. That thing ripped. There's a lot to learn from. All right, where do we go? Okay, the Omni feed is going to show you ARCA and some other big exchanges. All right, guys, without this one, it's going to be hard to see how they were controlling this, because if you see right here, 80 cents kept being spoofed to try to attract buyers. For some reason, retail is always going to hit off these little bidders. And okay, it's very important where you do it and why you do it. I prefer to see these on the front side of the move than the back side of the move. Because what happens is if these bidders show up and they don't go, every long is going to get trapped in here. And you're going to sit here and you're going to see it over and over and over again. All right, guys? If you see pulled, put back. Pulled, put back. Pulled, put back. You know, over and over and over again until finally this actually, the best bid actually started to seep into this. They pull it, they throw an offer right here to control it, and then it comes down just a little. Nothing too crazy. And then we had market close. I got to go back and learn more. And to see this trappy action and then to see it hold and then immediately rip through that was phenomenal for me. And I'll make sure to catch it next time. My focus isn't this, right? My focus is very front side, making sure I'm understanding proper zones that are being mapped out and seeing how the book reacts to it. Real quick, TGL. Again, I had to pick real quick. You know, TGL. This is TGL right out of the gates. And what got me is this that it tried too hard right here with too much volume. And then immediately after it just gave it all back. And then it consolidated. There's just too much offers over this one. Tries one more time right here. And then it dumps. There was a zone right here that it needed to reclaim. Alright, I need to show you this. They pulled the offers. This is where you guys are going to have to do your own screen time and really see how things are being used. Just because they pull an offer right here doesn't mean it's a buy signal. It could be a potential trap signal. They pull the offers, they throw a bid. Buyers step in, potential retail, I don't know who's doing it, I don't know, right? Buyers step in, you could potentially think this is a great setup. Pulls back, you're like, oh, it's okay, and all of a sudden they yank the bid. All right, and then you can actually really see what's going on here. And yes, they are starting to get sold into. They try to add a little more, some gets sold into, and then eventually this thing gives out. Not only does it give out, it dumps. Yeah, pretty quick. You know, sorry. Yeah, it dumps. Now, look at all this empty space. Empty space, no liquidity. How are you going to know? Well, you can use the book, right? This thing, when there's no liquidity, guys, it has to go back to the next support level. It's kind of like all these pennies. You see them rip, 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 rip. They go, they go, they go. And all of a sudden, you look back like a week or a month later, and you're like, whoa. It faded all the way back to where it originally started, to where the original algo is holding it and soaking it. Super cool. It's the same thing that you can potentially apply to this. Beautiful book flip. Again, these are front runners. This is someone saying, hey, I'm going to potentially support this. Well, and they don't. Okay. As you can see, spread it, right? Some of it gets pulled. Some of it, this gets pulled. Yeah. Some of it gets sold into. But for the most part, you got to really understand the best bid, the best offer, and it sees as it comes into it. Some of it gets sold into, and then, you know, yeah, some of these sellers catch this, that's fine, but now these guys are kind of hanging out and grabbing the spread. All right, and then you get a nice book flip. Okay, that's it, guys. ICU was a banger today, and you know, here's the thing. This type of price action that's going on in these names, all the scalpers are going to get destroyed over and over and over again, and it's just because you just try to go in and out so many times. So, you know, be wary, and if you do want to scalp, hey, do your thing. Get a better understanding of what's going on. You know, so maybe you will scalp a little less. You know, and maybe, you know, I don't know. That's all I got, guys. I'm tired. It's about to be 2000. I'm gonna go to bed in about 45 minutes, and I'll be up at 4. See you guys later. Peace out.